Present.
Vice Mayor Butler. Mayor Anderson.
Present. Thank you. Item number 3 is prayer and pledge, if everyone would stand. Commissioner Johnson?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for all your many blessings of life. Lord, we ask you at this time if you'll be with each and every one of us as we take on the matters of the city, that we do so in a way that will be not only well-pleasing in your sight, but in the citizens that we represent. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Item number 3 is mayor's comments. Again, we want to welcome everyone here tonight. We've got a good group, and welcome all those at home. Everyone, please speak into your mics because those at home can't hear if we don't talk into the mics directly. I'm going to ask Keith and Bree if y'all could just show the plan for a second, but then pan back to the Board of Commissioners so that people at home can see who's speaking on what subject. Okay? Item number 5 is approval of the agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald.
Aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 5 passes 4-0. Are there any citizens' comments tonight?
There are 2 tonight, Mayor. The first is Miss Susan Morris.
All righty. If you could just state your name and address for us.
Okay. Susan Morrison, 7250 Northwest Highway. Got comments on the rezoning of this property on Northwest Highway. I wonder, and I ask the commissioners, when is a deal a deal? I was here in this room months ago. I'm not going to get all the details right, but I was here. That property was annexed. It was zoned RS40. That was the deal. We were happy. People were like, okay, best case scenario for the neighbors who want to keep a rural feel. It's the best case scenario. Great. Builder, the developer said things like, we like the trees. We're going to keep all the trees we can keep. We're going to extend this road, Northwest Highway. It's going to be better than ever. So they tear the old barn down, they fill in the pond, they start the infrastructure. I get it. Topographical maps might show something a little different when you get in there. Maybe you lose some building sites. I see that happen. If you're a builder, you're a professional, you plan for that. You can expect things like that because you're in the business. It's not the city's responsibility to make up for that. So he goes to the Planning Commission. I want to rezone again. I want RS20. They vote it down. Comes to the Board of Commissioners. You vote it down. But you send it back to the Planning Commission. New information. Back to the Planning Commission. This time, there's talk about the road, and there's like a little, maybe a little hijacking or a little hostage taking. I don't have to, the building of the road was out of the goodness of my heart. And it seems like the goodness in his heart has left unless he gets RS20 rezoning now. So maybe the building of the road improvement is off the table unless it gets rezoned again. So when is it over? When is a deal a deal? So now it's back to you. I have no doubt you're going to vote for it. There's nothing I can say or do that's going to persuade you otherwise, but I see what happened here. It's what prevents him from coming back and wanting something else or more. I wouldn't let our city become indebted or be taken or threatened with your decision-making. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Next is Marshall Walker.
Marshall Walker, 7229 Northwest Highway, and thanks for this opportunity. Second everything Susan said, I wish that we could return the clock and not get annexed in multiple areas. Most of us spoke up against all of it. I live on Northwest Highway, and you guys, Mayor Anderson and Commissioner Johnson, especially a couple of weeks ago, you guys expressed multiple concerns multiple times about traffic and traffic studies. So that's one of my main concerns is we just, on Northwest Highway, we don't need any more density than what you guys have already annexed and approved. I already have to do all of my daily walks at 9 o'clock at night just because of the increased traffic that's already there, just in general as Fairview grows. And selfishly, I would like to keep doing that. I can't always go to the park to do it. I would like to do it out of my driveway. So I know that that might not mean a lot to some people, and it might be a little selfish, but you expressed concerns that the development, the Bellhaven development, that all of that traffic is going to come down Northwest Highway. Well, certainly this other development, they're even closer. So all of them are going to come right down through that corridor. And it is not a highway. It is a country road. So that's, I don't know if that, I wish I had better persuasion skills. I wish I had some awesome legal standing for you guys. I know that you guys have a hard decision. I know it's kind of a tough place to be in, and I can appreciate that for you guys, but I just would ask that you guys just control the density and please don't approve anymore. Thank you.
Item number 7, public announcements, awards and recognition, city events.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. We have movie in the park on Saturday, the 22nd at 8 p.m. I think it's Cars 2. And then we've got July 3rd coming up. I know heard different times on when the gate's opening, but I do know fireworks are at 9:30. We've got 3 acts and a lot of vendors, a lot of activity will be going on. We're really looking forward to this event. Thank you so much.
I clarified with Richard, we have a soft opening at 2 p.m., but the big opening is at 3 p.m. and music starts at 3:30. So. Item number 8, staff comments and monthly reports. A, community services report.
Good evening, Board. For May 2024, our Public Works Department focused on their right-of-way mowing service and their chipper service. Our Planning Department currently has 6 projects under review. Our codes, we issued 19 residential building permits. That brings our total count from January 1st through May 31st to 81 residential building permits. And we completed 222 building inspections. Regent Homes also hosted a groundbreaking for City Center. That is all that I have for my report tonight.
Thank you. Item B, police department report. Chief Humphreys.
Good afternoon. For the previous month, we're glad to say staffing has held at 28. We are about to send 3 of those new guys off to the academy July the 7th. And thanks to your budget that you approved for us, we are in the process of those added positions, interviewing now for some quality people, and look forward to getting those on board soon. Overtime dipped a little bit to 47.25 hours, and training was uptick a little bit at 462, pretty consistent last few months in that 400 to 500 hour range. And you can see below, we had a lot of training, impaired driving, mid-level management, basic firearms, less lethal firearms, taser, fingerprint evidence collection, radar certification, spike strips, chemical spray, handcuffing, impact weapons, and vehicle lockout. So pretty busy month from the training aspect. A lot of that was hands-on, not the computer-based training, so a lot of activity for the month. The operational report, calls of service and self-initiated activity. There was a little bit of a change there from 951 to 960, but I do want to just bring one thing up. As you see this monthly, from the previous month, they're all hanging around the 900 to 1,000 calls and initiated activity range. That's important as we move forward in our negotiations with the county on our dispatch fees. And you'll see that there's not a lot of change in variance in our activity. So as you go through the months, even through the years, as it stayed pretty consistent, then as we make those agreements with the county, you should see that we're probably not impacting them any more than we have before. So as we move forward with that, that's something to note. Next slide. Activity for the month, up a little bit, 76 arrests, 2 domestics, 1 DUI, 18 drug charges, and 0 thefts for the month. Citations were 112, traffic accidents 28, with 26 property damage, 2 injury, and again, we're grateful that there were no fatalities in that. Last slide. I know Tom touched on this. Just a reminder, July 3rd is coming upon us. We will have a tent down here, and that is our primary fundraiser for Shop with a Cop. Beside that, we will have a silent auction. And I think today they told me it was 40-something items. So we're hoping people will stop by there also and give our stuff a look, maybe shop with us and help those kids during Christmas. And I had no additional put up there, but I will add this. If you notice this gigantic trailer across the street, that was an acquisition, again, from the LISO program from military. It did not cost us anything to acquire that. It's a $100,000 plus trailer. We acquired it. It had a military simulator in it for Humvees and MRAPs and 5 tons. We removed the simulator out of it because it was no use to us. We had the plans of changing that into a mobile command post should there ever be anything like a natural disaster or something hits Fairview and we need to move on location for city staff, police department, and fire. So we had the idea to retrofit that to meet our needs. We did that, and in that process, Richard asked if we could utilize it for the July 3rd event as a kind of a green room for the acts. We have set it up for that, and so they can utilize that. And after the commission meeting tonight, Detective Reed will be over there and have it fired up, the generator running, lights on. If you would like to see that after the meeting, you're welcome to come over there and see it. It is an unbelievable asset for being a free item. So kind of consistent with our efforts in the LISO program. And that's all I have. Anything?
Thank you, and I want to express my gratitude toward y'all in the whole police department and Mark Sutton for, combing the site to bring us these items at no cost to us and to our taxpayers, because you have no idea how many things that we have that the police department have acquired that are useful to our community and you and like not our community.
I'll do a presentation on that since we've
Yes.
had the board kind of turn
that's
over a
what-
little
yeah.
bit. I'll do another presentation about LISO and to the public too, as people, even new citizens to Fairview, that they see these big ticket items, they see these large items that they would assume the city would have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars for, and that we acquired for free and just had to go get it. And so I want to address that at a later date and kind of explain to them so they know that how well we're doing with that. The Ryder truck that sits out there, the semi truck, that was donated to us free also. So we have no dollars in those, no city dollars, other than going and getting it.
And that's where I was going with that. We're going to have you come up and do a complete presentation and talk all about the program so that our community understands,
Right.
you know, the impact that.
Right, and we've got, and not just police radio, we've acquired a lot of items that the city uses. And we've got bulldozers and you know, a lift and the construction lights that will be around on July the 3rd. We just recently picked up 2 more sets of those that were 10,000 apiece. So the LED construction lights, we'll have them around. So those are just items that we're able to acquire that the city can use. And then some of those items we're eligible to sell. We sell those and generate revenue. So I will do a presentation on that to kind of get everybody up to speed.
Well, we appreciate all your hard work to save our taxpayers' dollars. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
Item C, Fire Department report.
Good evening. Everybody's doing well. So for the month of June, our call volume was up a little bit to 117 calls over last year. This time, we only had 7 incidents where we had more than one call going on at the same time. Just one fire, a grass fire. It actually started from an illegal burn, but they were able to extinguish that pretty quickly. We had a call for a piece of our equipment to the county to help remove an injured patient that was back in the woods off of a trail. Fortunately, we have the Scout ATV that we can utilize for that. 5 mutual aid calls with the county, and our average response time was 5 minutes, 20 seconds. I think that number kind of gets run over in this slide presentation. Sometimes that's a significant number. And I know we're working towards another station and more staffing and stuff to reduce that. In a modern house, nowadays, when you go modern furniture, from a spark to an unsurvivable situation can happen in under 4 minutes. So that 5 minute, 20-second response time, that's significant. We're always working to bring that number down, and the more spread out we get, the better that'll be. So our average operating time on scene was down a little bit to 14:19. My numbers for the slides. Next slide. Again, the overwhelming majority of our calls is medical. We're still trending right with the national standard for that, between 72 and 77% for a fire department. Just the one fire, I always want to see that number 0 every month, but a few false alarms, those were up a little bit. And then overall, just some service calls, hazardous calls, no big deal. So, next slide. And then the same heat map, usually where our population density is where the call volumes are going to generate. That'll just continue to grow. Next slide. Fire prevention activities. We completed 44 fire and life safety inspections. I only had to issue a few minor corrective actions. 3 fire pre-plans were completed. And then I reviewed 15 plans for new projects that came in. So, and then always just a reminder, I have a large stock of smoke detectors. So any resident that's here tonight or out watching us this evening at home, if you need your smoke detectors in your house or need them replaced, just feel free to give us a call. We can arrange that and help you out with that. That is a free service. In May, we completed 614 hours of training over the 3 shifts. We spent a lot of time training last month out at M&J Towing. I want to do a little thank them again for providing vehicles. They actually were able to provide us a school bus this time, so that was kind of a rare thing that we get to work on. And it was a surprising learning curve. Not too many people get to cut on a school bus all the time, so that was great training. And then we utilized our new tower, which has just come in. It provides us with such a great asset for training all the time. So then in May, we were able to add another stairwell to our tower so that we can utilize it a little better for training. And we had one new hire, Nick Huber, and I apologize for his picture looking like a mugshot, but we had just been outside training for hours and hours in the heat, and we were like, hey, we got to get you in here for this, so we snapped a picture real quick. But that's the fire department's May.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions from the board?
I have one. Does Scott have plans for the commissioner camp again this year?
I am not sure, but I will ask. That we would love to do that again.
We do have a
would love
commissioner
that
that
too.
wasn't at that particular camp, so I believe he would enjoy it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we will work on that.
Actually,
for
we
sure.
had two. Stuart, you wasn't at it the last time, were you? Okay.
It was a lot of fun. I'd like to do that again.
Okay, for sure. I will get that.
Sean, could you touch on burn permits and for new developments, if they see a fire out and about, since we have several that are going on currently, who
we
to
do.
contact?
Absolutely. So, so for burn permits, for if you're a citizen, there's no fee for a burn permit. You do have to come in and to the station. You have to fill out the form. It lists all the conditions that we go by. We will check the weather. Usually the winds are the main thing we're looking at. And there's for the average resident, there's no cost. We will come out, we'll look at what you're wanting to burn, make sure it's safe, and then sign you off. For development, for clearing, there is a fee for that. The different developers have to come in. It's the same form they fill out. We go through the same process. We go out and view the site, make sure everything is safe. We have had a lot going on. I know Otter Creek phases have burned the last 3 days. I think they were hoping to finish up today, my last conversation with them. Then the Westway apartments, they burned for a little bit, but they should be all finished. There's just, you'll see it as the developments happen, but just if anybody's ever got any questions on it, you can call the station. We should have a burn permit on file. If we don't, we're going to go check. So we always make sure they're safe. Sure.
Thank you. Item 8D, Finance Report. Mr. Darty.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. I've got 3 items. The first is your expenditure report for the Board of Commissioners. And we are closing out the year strong. All departments are under budget, including the Board of Commissioners, so we're happy for that. Revenues are strong. Your next report is has a summary financial statement. It's got a revenue detail, and then on page 3, it's got expenditures in summary. And then your last page is bank balances as of May 31st, 2024. We started dipping into the American Rescue Plan money and a little bit, and the 2021 bond account a little bit. We've got a ton of projects. We're just at that phase where not huge expenditures are going out, but we've got a lot going on, and I expect those to start going down through this next fiscal year. Thank you. We're looking to close out strong. All the departments have done a great job with their budgets this year, and I just appreciate everybody's diligence and just consciousness of our citizens' tax dollars. Thank you. I feel like we're providing with what we have a pretty good service. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Darty? All righty. And the city manager report, Mr. Darty, 8E.
Yes, to piggyback off the finances, I did get the budget sent out to the comptroller this week, and I have 15 days after it's been approved, and So that is one thing that didn't happen last year. So I got it out within 15 days, but we approved it July 6th last year. So I checked off all the boxes that the comptroller wanted me to check off this year. So hopefully everything's going to come back fine. They approved it last year. They said, "Would you please do this?" And we did that. So also. Just wanted to remind the board that we've got back-to-back BOC meetings in July. They're going to be on the 11th and the 18th. So we moved it because of July 4th week. That's all I have. Thank you.
Item number 9 is consent agenda. A, minutes from June 6, 2024, Board of Commissioners regular meeting.
Approval.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye. Item 9 passes 4-0. Item 10, old business. 10A, Resolution 24-24, a resolution of the City of Fairview, Tennessee to adopt the Williamson County Growth Plan as recommended by the Williamson County Growth Plan Coordinating Committee. City Planner, Mr. Greer.
This item was on our agenda 30 days ago, and we asked for it to be deferred to tonight. The Williamson County Growth Plan at that point had to have a correction made to the growth plan, showing that Spring Hill was adding a piece into their urban growth boundary that was not in the current plan that they had sent out at that point. That has since been added. Keith, if you'll go to the next slide. The City of Fairview's urban growth boundary is displayed in the light blue grayish color. Our current municipal boundary is the darker green color on the screen. The City of Fairview kind of pulled a little bit out of our northern border along Davidson County and then added a little bit into the 840 corridor and on the eastern side of Fairview. Any questions with how other municipalities have voted, or
Give us a quick rundown.
Mr. Carter?
I can. All that have voted have approved it. The only entities that haven't voted are Fairview, which will vote tonight, and Brentwood, which is scheduled to vote for July 8th. Everyone else has voted and approved it, including the Williamson County Commission, which approved it 10-6.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye. Item 10B passes 4-0. Sorry, 10A. Passes 4-0. 10B, second and final reading, ordinance 2024-10, an ordinance to amend Title IV, Chapter 2, Personnel Rules and Regulations, and to adopt the Fairview Policy Manual for the City of Fairview, Tennessee. City Manager Tom Daugherty.
Thank you. We, just to recap from last meeting, we really excited about this. We've been working on it for a long time. The keys that I believe are really going to stand out for the city are the automatic reviews and updates. This system will keep up with all those and help us stay on up to date with law. Also, it provides electronic employee training, which is vital, I believe, in keeping for liability as well as keeping employees informed. And I believe it's also very comprehensive. I believe it's going to serve the city well for a good period of time. Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald? Mayor Anderson?
Aye. Item 10B passes 4-0. Item 11, new business. 11A, Resolution 29-24, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, confirming the appointment of one citizen to the Planning Commission. Okay, the way we're going to do this is anyone here who has submitted an application and is here tonight, we'd like for you to speak one at a time.
Mayor, I was told by Commissioner Hall that one of the applicants had to have very serious back surgery, and asked Mr. Hall to make a statement about his biography. I told Commissioner Hall that it might be more appropriate for Ethan to do that, just to tell the basic facts, what the person's done, what he submitted. So I think that'd be an appropriate way to handle it, since the person had to have surgery.
Okay, Ethan, would you like to address us about Mike Anderson?
Sure. Mr. Mike Anderson submitted an application for the Planning Commission open seat. He has served multiple years on the Planning Commission previously. He is not currently on the Planning Commission. And as Mr. Carter stated, Mr. Anderson had back surgery and is unable to attend tonight per his doctor's recommendation.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone here that has submitted an application, if you could just one at a time come forward and just tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Don Buffalini. 3.5 years living here in Fairview. Second attempt going for the Planning Commission. I am part of the Parks and Landscape Board as well, dedicated to Fairview. I'd like to see some changes, see some positive things, try and fix some negative things if I could have that opportunity. I think our commission board has done a tremendous job and fighting against all odds, to say the least. Last time I had a speech prepared, I didn't have a speech this time prepared because I was not thinking I was going to be up here today. But also, as far as qualifications, I've been in the construction industry for just about half my life. I was also a retired FDNY. One of the reasons why I moved down here, retired and just enjoying my life down here in Fairview. I love everything about it. Also, during my construction, I've also graduated of NYU, and I have a degree in development, construction development, and real estate. That's where I leave it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Will King. I live at 7371 Crowcut Road. I'm a lifelong resident of Fairview. My wife and I both went to and graduated from Fairview High School. We raised our 2 kids here now. I've got a degree in civil engineering, and I hold my professional engineer's license in the state of Tennessee as well as Kentucky. I believe I'd make a good addition to the Planning Commission. I think I bring a unique perspective. I've worked for the engineering firm that performs all the city engineer work for the city of Forest Hills. During my time there, I worked on traffic calming projects as well as drainage issues. I also spent time working for a residential general contractor, building custom homes. I gained experience in planning, permitting, and closing out residential projects. I currently work for a commercial general contractor in downtown Nashville, building high-rise office buildings as well as residential towers. This experience, I've worked with electrical, gas, water utility districts, as well as Department of Transportation's, civil engineers, and public officials to bring these developments to life. I've worked on these large-scale projects all the way from the design phase all the way through opening to the general public. So I've seen the way the general public interacts with these new developments, and it's allowed me to see kind of what designs work and what don't. I've always loved Fairview, and I'm thrilled at the opportunity to be able to serve this community. I've seen this town grow from a stop sign at Chester Road all the way to where we are now. And I'd love to be a part of the growth and help keep this place to be a place we are all proud to live in. I appreciate your time and hope you consider me for the position. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Cameron Campagna. As the PowerPoint says, I'm currently not a resident of Fairview. I'm building out the development out in Aiden Woods, be a resident out here within the month. Yeah. Like the two people before me, I don't have qualifications really to zone, city things. I work in finance within Nashville. Moving out to Fairview just because I read the Fairview 2040 plan, was fascinated by what's going on out here. I come out here, visit 2-3 times a week, just kind of fascinated by the development coming around. I came out to the groundbreaking ceremony for the city hall. I follow all these meetings online, virtually. I'm excited to be in front of you guys all today. I just really want to be a part of the development of Fairview and really kind of sit back and mold Fairview into what I believe it can turn into. And I just want to be a part of the committee that is in charge of that. So I'm looking forward for your consideration. Thank you.
Okay, so that seems to be all four with what we heard about Mike Anderson. Mr. Cameron, I'm going to butcher your last name, so I'm just going to call you Mr. Cameron, okay? We really appreciate, and I'm speaking for myself, if the board would like to say something different, that's fine. We really appreciate you coming out, and I just feel that until you are a resident of the city and living here, we probably need to not appoint you. But we always have opportunity for many different boards, and also the Planning Commission will have opportunity in the future for, to have other seats available. So, stay tuned and just kind of watch for that to become available. If the rest of the board has a different opinion than that, then they can speak up for that, but that's kind of how I feel about that one. I'm going to make a motion to nominate Will King.
I'll second.
Make a nomination.
Okay, then we'll just vote. Okay, so we just vote on Will King first?
You can make a motion for nominations to cease.
Well,
Okay.
do that, or you can nominate them all and have a second, and then each of you vote for who you want, and whoever has the majority would become the person. Or you can do what you did, Mayor, and nominate one, but by doing it that way, if someone else has somebody else they want to nominate, then, so I don't know, you can do it lots of different ways. That's fine the way that you did it.
Okay, so let's, I nominated Will King, so let's vote on Will King first.
So he would need a second, and then you would
Chris
vote.
seconded it.
Perfect.
Okay, so,
Do we have to vote, or can I have to ask a question?
Well, there's been a first and a second, so that's usually the time for discussion.
All right, thank you. Is it possible to increase the size of the board? We've got 3 top applicants, and I hate to see. We've got 9 already on this board.
No, you can't, it's set by state law, I believe. You would have to change the, have to change your code.
Is it possible to have an
I
alternate?
believe it, by the state, it's limited to 9. I would have to look into it, but 9 is the biggest planning commission that I'm aware of.
Is it possible to have alternates?
Have what?
Alternates?
If another seat opens again, we would take additional applicants at that time. So I don't think it would be appropriate to have an alternate. Meaning if another seat came open, Commissioner Hall, then I imagine we go through the same process again.
I understand. Thank you.
Patrick, if I could ask for some clarification, I know previously nominations did not require a second. That most of the time, if the board wanted to do something like that, you would nominate a person, and then if that person is who you wanted to do, you'd make a motion to elect that person by acclamation, meaning nobody else could be nominated.
I've seen different cities do it different ways, and I don't recall. I think the last time we did it here, I believe we did a first and a second and voted on the person. Sometimes different cities handle it differently. Sometimes everyone will be nominated, and then you see who has the majority. I think here we did a first and a second the last time that we had an opening. I'm familiar with the process that you're talking about. I don't believe that's the process we used last time.
Okay.
And we're not married to the process we used last time, but I think a first and a second discussion and then a
It'll
vote
suffice.
is an appropriate way to handle it.
I'm ready to vote.
Okay. So let's, we'll vote now on Will King. Ms. Jones?
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Nay.
Okay, 3-1. Congratulations, Mr. King. You'll be a part of the Planning Commission. Okay, item 11A, 3-1 for Mr. Will King. New business item 11B, Resolution 30-24, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, confirming the appointment of one citizen to the Parks and Landscape Board. I believe we only have one person, Miss Sherry Wright, if you'd like to come forward and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Can you hear me? Oh, good. I don't do microphones. Sherry Wright, I have been 7278 Old Franklin Road. Do you need to know that? In Fairview, I have been here, my husband and I, for going to be 11 years this year. So I've been a member of the Friends for about 5 years. I sit on the current board of directors for the Friends of Bowie Nature Park as vice president. This is my second term. Been active with the playground build and the fundraising leg of that. So I was lucky enough to be on the playground fundraising team, and we were successful and had a great time doing it and actually got a playground out of it. So that went well. I do serve with the Friends. We work a lot in the park. When we moved here, that was probably my favorite thing about Fairview, was Bowie Nature Park. And so, yeah, I love all that and all things parks and landscaping all around Fairview now, and it's nice to see it grow and develop. Anything else?
Commissioner Hall, as the appointed commissioner to the Parks and Landscape Board, I'm going to let you talk about Miss Sherry and why we're excited about her being a part of the board.
I'm glad she's moving on to take Miss Tarola's place. I don't believe anyone can take her place.
Nobody can take Miss Kathy's place.
Anyway, I would make a motion to accept you for our Parks and Landscape Board. And she does a great job with the Friends of Bowie Park also.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Welcome, Sherry, and we're excited, especially with you being a part of the park, the Friends of Bowie Nature Park. It's good to have somebody on the Parks and Landscape Board that can bring a perspective from, their side, and we appreciate everything you've done, with the park so far. So it's exciting to have you on board. New business, item 11C, Resolution 31-24, a resolution awarding the bid to the lowest responsible responsible bidder, GNC Supply Company Incorporated, for the removal and replacement of street signs in the Castleberry Farms neighborhood. City Manager Tom Daugherty.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. It's there's not a lot of people in this business, but I'm really happy with the bid we got. The price is to remove old and install the new. It also provides us the opportunity to keep a small inventory. If there becomes damage, we can replace them more easily and readily. Easy to reorder. One of the big problems we had to overcome is they were very bulky and hard to manage posts, and when they got and then I think the person that made them is no longer making them, and it's hard to replace. So I believe this is going to be a solution that can help us down the road if we have need to replace any more. But I'm excited about this, and I hope Castleberry is as well. Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion from the board? I would like to say I get phone calls probably once every few weeks about this situation, so I know the Castleberry subdivision, neighborhood will be excited that their stop signs are going to be replaced and taken care of. So I appreciate the city staff for taking care of that for them.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
I would just like to note that all the streets in Castleberry are city-owned and maintained streets.
Good point. All right. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 11C passes 4-0. Item 11D, Resolution 32-24, a resolution of the City of Fairview Board of Commissioners approving a schedule change for November 2024 meeting dates, and that would be an item that I brought. I have a city event that is going to take me out of town, and just like our July 4th that moved to July 11th, I'm asking that we make an alternate date for our BOC meeting in November. We brought this up last meeting, and we were kind of looking at dates. Is there anything that's better? I think someone said they were going to be out of town at some point.
The week of Thanksgiving. I think Brandon and I both said we would be out. I
Okay.
think he said that.
Yeah, Mr. Butler will be out also the week of Thanksgiving.
Is it, just for is this something maybe we should defer till next meeting to get Brandon's opinion so we don't schedule it in November and then
That's fine.
he's absent? Just thinking since he's
No,
not
I mean,
here.
I think that's a good point. Because I honestly, does anybody remember what he had mentioned?
I know he said something about Thanksgiving week, but I don't know
I
outside of that.
believe he's out all of Thanksgiving week. I believe
Okay.
is what he told me. Now, I don't know if it fell on either end more, but I know it was at least Thanksgiving week.
I am perfectly fine with deferring it till next meeting so that he can be here. We've got a little bit of time. Is the board good with that?
I'll make a motion to defer.
Second.
All right. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 11D, 4-0 to defer to our next BOC meeting. New business, item 11E, ordinance 2024-11, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Fairview, Tennessee by rezoning 57.9 plus or minus acres of property located at 7281 Northwest Highway, consisting of Williamson County Tax Map 021, parcel 62.00 and 63.00 from RS40, family residential, to R20, 1 and 2 family residential. Property owner Northwest Cove LLC. Anybody representing Northwest Cove, if you'd like to come forward, and Mr. Greer, would you like to speak to that.
The property that is being requested to be rezoned from RS40 1-acre single-family lots to R20 half-acre single-family lots is being requested by Mr. Tony Cavender. I believe his engineer, Mr. Nathan McVeigh, is here tonight to represent the project. The Planning Commission considered the rezoning request and provided a recommendation to the board. Once it got to the Board of Commission, there was more information that was provided to our office and to several board members, and the Board of Commission referred it back to the Planning Commission for reconsideration. After the Planning Commission's reconsideration, it moves back to the Board of Commissioners tonight with a positive recommendation for approval on a 5-2 vote for recommendation for approval. Mr. Cavender is happy to answer any questions that y'all may have tonight.
Mayor, if I could ask Ethan a couple of questions before. What was the previous vote from the Planning Commission?
The original vote from the Planning Commission was 7-0 with a recommendation for not approving the rezoning.
And is it true about the bad information, or somebody looked at the plan wrong, or it was described wrong to the Planning Commission? What was what happened there?
The Planning Commission seemed to be very concerned, one, about density going into this area along Northwest Highway, and two, about homes fronting the proposed Northwest Highway that goes through the Belvoir development. There was a conceptual plan that was presented to the Planning Commission at the second meeting for them to consider this item. And after they saw the conceptual plan, several of them changed their votes to be in favor of this rezoning.
So the reason, and the way it was explained to me was the developer from the onset had these, based on building the road for the city, had the interior lots at the R20. But some city staff and/or Planning Commission members thought that they fronted Northwest Highway the entire way around that. Is that correct?
Prior to June 4th, this would have been considered at the May Planning Commission meeting, and then y'all considered it at the June 6th Board of Commissioners meeting. I believe it was June 4th that Mr. Nathan McVeigh sent over a conceptual plan with what they had intended, showing that. So that was information that was not available at the May Planning Commission meeting that was made available at a later date.
That makes perfect sense. What are the two highest densities that border this subdivision?
There is a R20 pod that is to the south of this development. And then for this particular rezoning, Mr. Cavender has chosen to keep RS40 along the perimeter. And then across Dice Lampley, you have Bellhaven. That is a relatively dense project.
So it is surrounded by R20, much higher density in Bellhaven, and the one you're saying to the south is an R20 pod?
Yes, sir. That would be Wynwood Park.
Oh, okay. So it does go all the way to there.
And then the other area is MGA1, that's municipal growth area. Those are properties located within the county that are zoned for 1 acre lot designations.
Well, I will say something to the two citizens that spoke. I understand where y'all are coming from, but for me, as a representative representing the citizens, I just don't think half-acre lots are bad. I don't know when half-acre lots ever could have been bad for the city. I mean, we're just doing all these signs for Castleberry and the residents of Castleberry, and they're all half-acre lots, so I don't see how half-acre lots, especially when half-acre lots are all around that same subdivision. I get it if you live on that road and you don't want it, I understand that, but I just don't, if there was an error made in how the plan was presented, I don't think there's anything sinister going on here. I think it just needed to be clarified. There was a reason it voted down 7-0, and a reason it passed 5-2. So I thank you for your explanation.
If I may, my name is Tony Cavender. I'm the developer of Belvoir. And like I spoke to the Planning Commission last time, when we annex a piece of property, and this particular property, like a lot of them that we do, if it's in the county, we'll go for annexation of the property, and it comes in automatically at R40. There was nothing here that was etched in stone. We done a preliminary plan and presented that to the board when it was approved, but nobody's holding anybody hostage or anything like that. This is, this property, and meaning the property where the new Northwest Highway is going to go through. We've already designated it to the city. We've done that up front on our own because we felt that that's really the best for that route to fix a lot of this curvature in the road. As for a couple of comments that was made tonight with citizen comments, there's reference to the walkability of the road. I agree with them too, because I park a vehicle every time I go over there, and people act like I'm not walking on the road. I mean, you almost got to get off in the ditch. But the good news for them, we'll be putting sidewalks in, so they'll be able, even though some of those individuals actually live in the county, they get to speak here and don't have to pay any city taxes. The people in this subdivision will pay city taxes, and they will be able to, anybody in the county and the city will be able to enjoy the subdivision and the nice sidewalks throughout this development. But I do appreciate your, as far as understanding a little bit about how we brought this in. It was nothing that we done that was meant to guide you in another way and then come back in another way. That just was not our intentions.
I did want to point out that when we got the new information, the corrected information, and it went to the Planning Commission, it was voted 5-2 in favor. When it went to the BOC, and that was after it went to the BOC, when it went to the BOC, it was never voted on. The BOC did not vote it down. It was never voted on. It went to the BOC. We immediately did not vote on it. We sent it back to the Planning Commission to take a look at it again after the new information had come in. So I just wanted to clarify that, because we never voted up or down. We just sent it back to the Planning Commission. And our road project with Northwest Highway, that's a partnership with the city and Belvoir, which is a road project that is going to be a great alternate route. It's going to be a 3-lane road, but through Belvoir, the speed limit will be slow. It will be reduced to 25 miles an hour because the state of Tennessee requires it to cross the creek just one time, and they determine where the curve is in the road. So since there is a curve, it will go from a 35-mile-per-hour road to 25, just like any other regular subdivision. There will be sidewalks throughout that are not just for that neighborhood. They're for the whole area. This R20 is interior lots, which will not face, the driveways will not connect to Northwest Highway, but they're interior lots that are surrounded by nice larger lots that continue on to the other pieces of property that are surrounding it.
If you could, Mr. Cavender, speak to what you're putting in this subdivision. I don't think it's going to be $150,000 vinyl siding houses. What are?
No, sir. This is a product that is being currently built in Franklin. It's on Jones, which is now Castle Rock, which is their higher end. We have a very nice product in Otter Creek, which I think every one of you are aware of and have drove through Otter Creek. That is a super nice product, but this is even a little bit this is another tier above that that's going to be built in this subdivision. So it's going to be, there will, obviously, we don't put any vinyl siding on any of our products, but it's going to be hardy, brick, and rock.
What's the base price for one of these?
Right now, we're advertising it, and I say we, in conjunction with the partnership with Jones and Council Rock, is $850.
Okay.
And also, I made a point at the Planning Commission meeting that, we've got a mixture here. We've got surrounded by 1 acre lots, the interior being half-acre lots. In my opinion, the feel for Fairview, I live in a subdivision, Castleberry's a subdivision. There's lots of subdivisions that have acre lots to half-acre lots going upwards to 1 acre lots. With the prices of houses nowadays, it's just, I couldn't afford an acre lot with one of these large homes on it. So I think a mixture is a good opportunity for people to have a range and not, because your acre lots with your big houses, they're over $1 million.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know of a lot of people who could, spend $1 million on every single one of those lots. So I think a mixture, half acre and up, is a good plan for that.
And I might point out to you as well as and this will come back before the Planning Commission when we do a final plat as far as for our construction. We are actually going to take some of these rear properties will go all the way down to the creek. So not every one of those interior lots are going to be R20. Some are going to be much larger than that because we just try to limit the open space in a straight zoning, and it just makes for a lot more, as far as HOA payments. The more property open space you have, naturally the higher your HOA payments are going to have to be. So we're trying to limit that in these higher price developments to where when you have this nicer home, you don't have a $150, $200 HOA payment to have to make on top of that. So some of these lots that are going to be inside the interior will also be larger than R20 as well.
And also, with a straight zone, with these lots being that size, R20 to R40, though people that have a house like that in that size yard, typically what they do is they fence their own yard, they put a pool in, and their dog can run in their own yard. They don't need, a lot of open space because they have their own open space at their own house.
Yes, ma'am, that's right, that's correct.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. Any other discussion? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald?
No.
Thank you. Item 10E passes 3-1. Item 11, new business. Item F, Resolution 33-24, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, authorizing the mayor to execute the site development agreement contract for 2332 Fairview Boulevard. City planner, Mr. Greer.
The site development agreement before you tonight is for 2332 Fairview Boulevard. This is with Riverside Park General Partnership. Their site reclamation bond has been set for $162,402. This is a commercial project. Most of you are probably familiar or have at least seen the signs. It sits adjacent to the DMA and Covenant Health project. You've seen a sign that says coming soon with a little shopping center picture out there. This is a building that holds 5 tenant spaces for commercial use. I think as a city, we could always use a little bit more commercial space. It was approved by the Planning Commission earlier this year, and this is their development agreement so that they can get started moving dirt out there and get it built.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion from the board?
Everything.
Ms. Jones?
Hey, Ethan, paragraph I should be severability, not separability. So I would ask that it be amended to correct the term. It's severability, SEV, not separability. I think it's just I don't even know if we need to make a motion, but I would ask that I think it's a Scrivener's error. So if that could be corrected on the final version that's signed, I don't think you need to amend it. I think Ethan just needs to correct it.
So
It doesn't change the meaning of the provision.
Will I need to wait until it's amended to sign it?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. So it
Well,
just, they just need to reprint it with the V instead of a P.
So that they can get started, I'm always available and around, you know that. So as soon as it's corrected, I'll run over here and sign it.
And I'm sorry I didn't notice that earlier. I think I've read it so many times that I read it with the V and noticed the P just now as I was flipping through. So
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye. Item 11F passes 4-0. New business, item 11G, discussion, planning and engineering pass-through fees. City Planner, Mr. Greer.
So we're at a point in our department where we're looking at increasing our fees for planning and engineering. Several other municipalities, as we've looked around to identify their fee schedules to fall in line with those. We've noticed that several have pass-through fees, an ordinance within their municipal code to pass through third-party fees for plan review or engineering services. Specifically, some use the language such as reimbursement to the town for actual review charges, including but not limited to engineering review, engineering oversight, and project site inspection charges or fees for services incurred by the city by virtue of and relate to the project at hand. So for us, we utilize currently a third-party plan review service, and we are currently utilizing a third-party engineering service that plainly we're, as the city, paying those bills, even though oftentimes the time and energy that are put into the plan reviews are at the benefit of the development community. So for tonight, I would like to garner your opinion on if you would like us to increase our fee schedule to accommodate those fees that are being missed, or to increase our fees to accommodate the fees. The last time the fee schedule was increased was in 2019. And as we all know, since 2019, in the last 5 years, things cost quite a bit more in 2024 than they did in 2019. Or if you would like for us to, we're still looking to increase some of our fees, but we would limit our increase and utilize pass-through fees to be able to utilize our engineering services and plan review services passed on to the development and building community.
Mayor, me personally, I think the pass-through is.
I think it's a great, this is something that I don't want to take credit for this, but I've mentioned this for a long time. Why are we not doing this? Because this is being good stewards of our citizens' tax dollars. I do believe that, the city should not be paying, for review of developers' documents. So I'm in favor of it as well. Mr. Hall, how do you? I'm in favor of it. This is only for discussion, so I kind
Exactly.
of want everybody's input.
Yes, I'm for it, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I think, we're not voting on it tonight, so Vice Mayor Butler can give his input next meeting. And Rachel, if you'll just add it to the agenda for us to vote on this item.
in a similar vein, I met with Judge Crutcher and Tom, and I believe we're going to be coming forth with increased court fees because we're currently charging less than what we're allowed to by statute, and the court should be be a cash flow item for the city instead of a break even or a losing proposition. So Tom will be working with Judge Crutcher and myself, and so we're working on that as well. Same logic and rationale.
Ethan, do you foresee any delay in the process that this would cause?
The process would be the same as it is today. For us, Griggs and Maloney would continue to build the city, and then the city would.
We just turn around, build
We
it
would
up.
have an itemized bill and then take each item and address it and send out a bill to the developer.
What exactly is the process? Will we review that to get down to the word on how all that's going to be set up? Obviously, there's going to have to be some votes taking place and some legal verbiage tied to it, but is there?
Staff will bring you a list of the various items, what's being charged now and what they're proposing be charged, and Ethan might even be able to put a list together of you what other jurisdictions around you are charging.
Yeah,
such as Franklin and Nolensville and Spring Hill. Spring Hill just raised theirs last night. Same reason, because they're not recovering what staff is actually putting in. They're getting tattooed. And so I think Ethan can probably put that together, and you should consider what other jurisdictions are charging and decide where you want Fairview. If you want Fairview to be on the high end or the low end or the middle of that, I mean, that's your prerogative. But I'm sure Ethan and Griggs and Maloney will have a recommendation, and they're very familiar with what the others are charging, so they can provide that to you.
Yeah, I think it's something that we should be doing. I think it's great that we're considering it and talking about it, but I do think it would be good, not just for us, but citizens as well, to have an idea of what other municipalities around us are doing, so we can kind of have a comparison for that.
The two that I pulled just for tonight for discussion with the pass-through fees, Pegram, which is a relatively small town, comparable to the city of Fairview outside of the county, and then Thompson Station, who is about our same size within our county. And both of those utilize pass-through fees. And that was kind of where I pulled from, just to see what other municipalities around us were doing within my research of this topic.
Patrick, would it be fair to say that some of the larger cities set their scale because their city employees are doing the work and it's not outsourced?
It's a mix in even the larger cities, so even some matters are outsourced, but it's both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to say because it fluctuates over time depending on staff available, and even sometimes when you have a full-time staff, the workload is so much that you still have an outside groups that help.
Nolensville's utilizing outside plan review currently. Metro Nashville for constructability review of homes, they are utilizing outside plan review. So it ranges from all sizes, but for a city to be able to recoup the funds that we're sending out the door, typically most of them have a pass-through ordinance that is within their municipal code.
I have one comment. Tom, I can remember the days when we wish this had been in effect, can't you? I remember some of those checks that went out. They were extremely high. That's one reason I'm for it.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on to item 12, roundtable, Mayor and Commissioners. Commissioner McDonald?
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of obvious ones, I'm sure it's on everybody's list, but thank you to Miss Kathy Tiroli for all the years of service that you have given to the city of Fairview. Many more than I've been around for, I'm sure, but in the time that I've been here and seeing you work and everybody around you, how they think of you, I'm sure you will undoubtedly be missed. So thank you for all your service. Also like to extend a thank you just to all the Planning Commission applicants. I think last time we had an open seat, we had some awesome applications. Same thing with this time around, so it's good to see that each time a seat comes open, we've got some serious interest in it. With that being said, welcome Will King and Charlotte Wright to your respective boards. And then last, thanks to Tom for handling the budget all year. I think it's fantastic to hear that all the department heads stayed under budget, so I think a round of applause to all the department heads for keeping, it's always, I think that we've gotten some nice stuff this year, some new stuff for the departments, but to stay under budget at the same time is icing on the cake. So thank you to all. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to welcome Mrs. Wright and thank Ms. Trolley for, I know you're not going away, but thank you very much for everything you've done and will continue to do. Mr. King, welcome. You probably don't even know it, but you're a neighbor to me almost. I'm down on Bowie Hollow, so real close to where you live when you said your address. So, and I will just make one comment so everybody's not nervous, but on the 3rd of July, I will be out of town. I will be in Florida, so you won't see me up here. So I hate that I'm going to miss it, but we're going to be gone. Thank you, Mayor. That's a shame. I know.
Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, Mayor. And the remainder of the board. Also, I want to thank the city employees that keep us straight and keep us headed in the right direction. And Mr. Rowley, you know what you've been to me. You've been a pleasure to work with through the years. You was always there to help me, guide me in the right direction, and I do appreciate you so much. Ms. Wright, I'm glad to see you headed to the Parks and Landscape Board. Mr. King, just because I voted against you doesn't mean that I'm not for you. You know, I've had somebody else that I would have probably put the name out, but it didn't get to that point. But anyway, welcome to the Planning Commission. Tom, I'm glad to hear about the budget and how well all the departments have done with everything. Being under budget is a blessing in disguise. Patrick, you're always there for us when we need you, and I do appreciate you. Thank Ethan and Miss Rachel. She's always there to help us out. Anyway, I think I've spoken enough. Anyway, thanks for everybody being here tonight, and it's good to see everyone.
All right, so let's just remember to make a note of with July 3rd, which is going to be an amazing event. We will not meet before July 3rd, so I'm just going to encourage everyone to come out. Our fireworks show, the only one I think that's better and I don't want to be there is Nashville. I would rather be here. We have a tremendous fireworks show. We have so many vendors this year and sponsors that this event will not cost the taxpayers anything. So that's exciting. We're going to have a great fireworks show, food, fun. Thank you, Chief. We won't have a stroke from the heat because, I was with some of the singing acts last year and some of the ones that are in costume, Rubik's Groove. I didn't know if they were going to be able to continue on. Some of them almost had heat strokes. So, and with all those costumes they wear, I can see why. So this is such a great addition. I can't wait for the rest of the board to actually, I was shocked. I think y'all are going to be shocked. I mean, I expected some little trailer that was just, okay, but no, it's pretty amazing. And I think when when our musicians, they're going to be talking about this, and we are going to be envied because they're going to say, wow, there's no outdoor event that has what Fairview has. I guarantee you. So it's going to be nice for them. The food's not going to spoil after an hour. I was a little concerned last year. I opened the little trays and that they got for all the, the singers and stuff. And I was like, after an hour of 100 degrees, I don't know if I'd want to eat that. So it's just all around going to be just a great situation. And so that's the 3rd of July. Everybody come here the 3rd of July. Soft opening at 2, opens at 3. Singing starts at 3:30, fireworks at 9:30. So it's going to be a great event. So with that, our meeting was on the 4th of July. I'm not talking about the 3rd of July. That's on the 3rd. on the 4th was our actual board meeting scheduled. So we moved it to the 11th. So let's just make a note that it's on the 11th and 18th in July. Okay, so, man, we always just, the last several times we have had such a good, response from people from our community wanting to serve on the planning commission. And here again, great applicants. Will stood out to me because of his qualifications. And when he said stormwater, because we hear that all the time, and he has experience in that, I jumped on it because that's one thing that I'm excited to have someone with experience in stormwater up here to help guide us in civil engineering to move forward with all the development we have going on right now. So welcome to Mr. King. Sherry, I've worked with you for many years, and the playground, when I was running for commissioner, the playground was something I wanted to see happen, as well as the rest of the board. I know everybody wanted to see that happen. So I always saw you out there fundraising and, knocking doors and getting money and doing everything you could. And I'm really glad that you're going to be a part of the Parks and Landscape Board. And also, Ms. Trolley, you're everywhere, involved in everything. So I know that you're not going away. So, we will see you. But thank you so much for all your service on the Parks and Landscape Board. And, we can't say enough for everything you've done for the city, and you're always here. You're always with us. Welcome to Nick Huber with the fire department. We were overlooking that picture. We don't even consider that. We know that you jumped right in. I'm speaking to you out there. Okay, so we know you jumped right in and got involved, and we're so excited to have you aboard. So welcome aboard. I had the privilege of going to the ribbon cutting of the West Tower, which is the newest Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, and more. It has more than just Children's Hospital and LDR, but it's in off Carruthers in Williamson County. It's called the West Tower, and it's a new medical facility. Luke Bryan and his wife, her last name's Boyer, and on the outside of the building, Boyer Bryan. They were donors to this really nice facility, and if you ever have a chance to go view it, I was very excited. As soon as I walked up on this building, I knew that it was a Earl Swenson original, because I worked with Earl Swenson for 12 years. Got to work with Mr. Swenson before he passed away. It's an architectural firm, okay? Architecture and designers. His team actually did the architecture and design on this West Tower. It houses labor delivery recovery, children's hospital emergency room, heart, cath lab, pulmonary, just many things. But if you ever have the opportunity to go see it, it's a real treat. Not as a patient. Just go take a look at it. But Mr. Swenson was always a pioneer of let's make it where when patients come in, they're not in some stark white sterile room, which actually hinders recovery. He always wanted you to feel like you were at home recovering in a hospital. So, I miss him. It was a real privilege to work with him. And I do have to say that Patrick Kilgore, the lead architect on this project, lives right here in Fairview. And he and I worked together for a long time, and he was just made partner with Earl Swenson and Associates. So that I want to give a shout out to him and tell him congratulations, because, man, it's just the whole ribbon cutting and us getting to tour the facility. If you have the opportunity to tour it and not be a patient, I encourage you to go there. Also now, we have something else that's close to us that we can, if we do need something, it's only like 30 minutes away. Bless you. I want to thank all the department heads. It means a lot to all of us sitting up here because we answer to the citizens, and it's real important to the citizens that we stay under budget and we are good stewards of their money. So I appreciate all of you for all the hard work you do. And Tom, you know the finances like the back of your hand, and you make our job so easy with everything you do to keep everything straight. Yes, you do. So, and Patrick, and you know how I feel about you. You do a great job. Rachel's always there for me, and Ethan, bless his heart, he misses lunch about 2 or 3 days a week because I'm always there asking questions. But anyway, thank you to all of y'all. We are about to be in the process of looking for a codes enforcer. So I did want to bring that up because I have people weekly mentioning to me that, there's people with, grass a foot tall or more and broken down cars in front yards and, just things that we need to kind of get around. And if a person needs help, then we're going to be in there to help them. But if it's just a place where somebody's just not keeping it clean, we need to, be enforcement and try to make sure that that's done. It's real important to me that, and I'm sure all of you, that we keep our community beautiful. We've got so many new people moving to Fairview, and I know that they always talk about how kind everyone is here, but also beautification it's always been on my heart to keep our city beautiful. So with our new codes enforcer, I met with Judge Crutcher, and he laid out, some plans for that, and he'll be talking to Patrick and Tom about what we discussed, but more of, making sure that the enforcement happens and nothing goes by the wayside, that it actually gets taken care of where people actually, are made to clean things up so that we can keep our city beautiful. Full-time?
It is a full-time position. Applications are being accepted until June 28th.
June 28th, okay.
Through June 28th.
Through
next
June
Friday.
28th. I have a question. I don't know if anybody here is experienced with this, but we are having, I'm so excited that we're having a parking lot put in behind the Triangle School, which Dr. Neil Rice got a grant for. Does anyone know if concrete needs to be, I've been asked this question, so I just want to ask it. Does it need to be watered, like wet or sprinkled at night to keep it from cracking? Does anybody know the answer? Maybe we could look into that.
I'm leaving that to the contractor. I've not been told I need to water that.
No, he would be the one that would take care of that, but I'm sure he's got a 1-year warranty on his work.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, good to know. Yeah, I didn't think that we were going to go out and water it ourselves, but I was just asked that question, so I thought I would bring it up. Okay, so with that, my little humor for the night. Okay, is there anything from our little ladies over there that we need to announce as far as dates or anything before I ask for an adjournment? Oh, okay. So what the ladies are wondering is if the dead trees on 96 and 100, the clover leaf, are going to be taken care of before the 3rd of July.
No, I do not believe they will be by the 3rd of July.
That was a probably not. Unless you want to go out there and cut them down, right? No, I'm just teasing. Okay. So with that, yes. In the mic, please.
Sorry, it's usually on. Mayor Carroll is hosting the coffee again here on July the 10th, the morning of July the 10th, and Thrivent Financial is the sponsor for next month.
So at Thrivent Financial,
It's here, though, they just,
no, it's
it
at.
is there?
We did,
Okay.
or not we, I'm sorry, I'm not, not me. Patty, our economic development officer, had the first coffee here to kind of kick it off.
Okay.
Now, which is exciting, each business, every month there'll be a different business that will be the host, and they have to bring the coffee and snacks. And I think this is awesome because we'll get to visit businesses we may never have seen before, and we get to learn what they do and kind of have a, team building, not team building, what's it called? Networking, that's the word I was looking for. We can have networking with our businesses out here and people who come in from all over to learn what we're doing out here. So that's exciting. And the first one was around 50 people came. So that was a great turnout.
And I don't think Thrivent's going to be able to have better food than we had.
That's right, because Ethan's wife, she does sourdough, and she made the best
Cinnamon rolls.
cinnamon rolls. So, unless Thrivent wants to contact Ethan's
I'm an
wife and
expert,
get,
too, and when I say they were good, they were good.
Thrivent can contact Ethan's wife and get more cinnamon rolls. So, all right, as I always say, let's please keep Fairview beautiful and pick up trash and don't throw it out. So thank you all for being here at home and here in the audience. We appreciate you. And with that, I will. All right, we're adjourned.